What's going on, guys? This is Scott. We have entered the drip, home of the 150% guarantee, where 100% of the time I'm going to be over 50% right. Every knife has a story. We try to uncover a little bit of that story, bits and pieces here and there, beginning, middle, end. It doesn't matter. We just love talking about knives. How's everybody doing? Wow, here we go again. It's that time. It's special. Punch your ticket, jump on the raft. I'm the captain, going to guide us through another tall, high-seed adventure of escape, murder, mayhem, and, well, maybe that's taking it a little bit further. But I do have a great knife to review today and talk about with you. This is going to be the SOG KIKU XR. Guys, a few weeks ago, I was looking through some different knives as I just kind of browse time to time. And SOG is a brand that I've actually reviewed or talked about, shown quite a few times. I have several SOGs, and I even have more that I'm going to talk about. This particular one I'd seen online, started reading up on it because it had some wonderful reviews. And the more that I read, the more I liked about what I was seeing and hearing. So I decided to snag one. And here we go. This is going to be the end result. I've had it in my hand for a couple of weeks, and I've carried it, used it a little bit. Nothing drastic, just to get a feel for it and see what my opinion was of this knife. And these are all my opinions. That's why we're here, so that I can buy knives, all different. I've kind of gone on a recent binge here where I've just gone a little bit ape shit and getting back into some OTFs. I tend to go in like different circles where I'll like something for a while and then I decide later I'm into something a little different. And so lately it seems like I've just been buying up a few different OTFs, but out the fronts. Here we go. This is a flipper. And as I said, it's called the SOG KIKU, K-I-K-U XR. And the first thing when I saw it and I looked at it was just the overall look of the micarta on the handle. And then when you flip it out, when you look at this blade, it is freaking, this is like a beast in your hand right here. So when you do get the this particular knife, just comes in a box, as is, linen micarta, KIKU XR, made in Taiwan. So this is one of their knives that is made overseas. Now this is an extra clip, so they actually do give you two clips, one for left, one for right. So I mean, that's cool if they do that, because a lot of times you're just SOL with many different knives. They don't give you, obviously, two clips. So this is right around $200. It's about anywhere from about $189 to $199. And this is a chunky monkey, all right? And it's a prime example of how SOG is, in my opinion, doing a lot of things right. I know that they kind of get beat up a little bit here and there by some of their choices of things that they've done as a company. But this particular blade and some of their other ones they have really redefined for me why I believe they're one of the leaders in the industry for industrial outdoor type knives, heavy duty, strength. It's a statement of strength, actually. So, as I like to call this, a little chunky monkey, because it is kind of chunky. And I know that's a popular thing nowadays too, kind of have a little bit of a smaller knife, but it might be kind of thick or a little bit heavy. So with the change, I think it's a lot of good things that this represents. Now the knife itself and the name, the KIKU, K-I-K-U, this knife is actually designed as a collaboration between SOG and Kiku Matsuda Matsuda. He is a knife maker, designer out of Japan, and he's very well known over there for designing a lot of different type of these knives, the heavier, bulkier, high utility type knives that we would go to see that could be military or otherwise. But just with the designs and the blade design, it is definitely got the Japanese DNA that's a part of it just by kind of looking at the blade here. Statement of strength. It really is. Just by handling, holding, putting this little sucker in your hand, it's just, man, reminds me of something that's small, fast, and just durable, like a tank. I guess, but tanks can be big, so not too sure how that analogy would work with it. So with that, this is as far as the blade, it's a Tanto compound satin plain blade. Now, if that didn't kind of confuse you in some ways, so it's a Tanto design. We have a little bit of a recurve here at the bottom on the belly, and then it goes up to this from a point here to the tip, which is a form of a Tanto. And then, of course, it's going to be a satin, and there's no serrations or anything on it. Very thick blade as far as profile goes. We look at the top of this thing. I mean, not only do we just notice the gimping all over the top of this, but it's a nice blade that looks like you could perform a lot of slicing duties with this. You could do some small chopping or puncturing. Just looks like a total durable utility knife for a lot of different purposes. I love how they have this high grind. It's almost like a hollow grind into a flat grind. Nice swedge on the top of this. Almost like a little bit of a harpoon on the top of it. You've got on this the XR lock. You've got 3 ways of deployment. You've got the thumb here. Okay, you've got the XR, which is usually what I use, just to kind of flip it in and out. Almost like an assisted, but it's not. We've seen a lot of XRs on SOGs in the past here. And then you also have the flipper tab. You see you have a little jimping on the back of it, which I guess you could flick it like that. I put my finger up a little bit higher and then just push it down. So definitely if it has a little bit of that fidget factor with it, just kind of flipping it back and forth. Reminds me a little bit in some ways of like a button lock, how you can just, you know, have continuous action flipping it different ways. So great action as far as, you know, deploying it, flipping in this thing around. No problems with that. You've got some really beautiful designed ergonomics on the overall blade itself. Now the blade steel on this is going to be, and it's on the back here, it's a CTS-XHP, if we can see that. Now, and then I think cryo with a little skull next to it. So probably some type of a special process they've tried to do with the blade itself. Now, I'll be honest, and there may be other ones people could say, oh, this is an old steel. I don't know. Like I said, from what I've heard, it holds a wonderful edge. It is good with corrosion resistance. And so it's from what I've read online, it's a great blade. Now, again, I haven't used it a lot. I do want to put this through some more usage, just everyday cutting tasks and such. But I believe whether it be food prep or something you just have in your pocket around a campfire, if you're out in the wilderness or doing things, I mean, this knife here, it came razor sharp. I mean, hair splitting sharp. And that's another thing that I've read about this online is everybody says it comes hair popping sharp. The only branding really is you've got the SOG KIKU XR here, and then you had what I had gone over previously on the other side of the blade. The jimping's well done up on top. You can move your thumb up, get a little bit of a grip with that thumb as you press into cuts. Nice finger choil on the bottom with a little jimping here that's also used for the flipper. When you put your finger in there, you have a little bit of almost a finger guard underneath. The jimping runs up into the handle, which is going to have your stainless steel inserts that are going to run the whole handle length. Jimping on the back, nice and smooth arch across the back, nice and, I should say, nice and straight. And then underneath you've got the finger cut out here for your first finger to kind of fit up behind the choil. And then these, since it's a little bit of a smaller handled knife, the rest of your fingers can kind of flow where they may go. You've got a little bit of jimping here underneath as well to give you some traction. You have some dimples or a lot of texture here on this, the linen micarta handle. And let me tell you, this thing, it feels really good in the hand. It's kind of, the thing I've learned is that every micarta handle can feel just a little different depending on how they do it. And from what I've felt on a couple of SOG knives, I like the way they do it. This is kind of a thick handle, gives you some meat in your hand, but it's got like it's very textured, like grippiness. Great if you're in wet conditions, cold conditions. If you happen to have a glove, I mean, this is just really easy to get your hand around. And I'm trying to give you a look at some of the texture here on the handle. Nice pivot here, each side, whether you need to adjust or not. This one, we'll look at, I mean, this is right down the middle. Perfect centering. Lockup is beautiful, nice and tight, just like we like them. Then you guys have seen the lock in action. Well, and if you hadn't, let me just kind of shine in here real quick, because some of you guys may actually came to this video just looking for the first time at this particular knife. So you've got your linen micarta, screwed down here. I did show you that you have another pocket clip that is a very deep carry. Look at that. Drops all the way down to here in your pocket. So all you have out is just going to be basically a tip here. And then you could put the other clip on the other side if you chose to carry this left hand, tip up, so left or right. You do have a back spacer here. This is some type of I believe a G10 that's here. Almost feels a little bit like that plastic material. Up inside of the handle, we do not have any type, well actually I was wrong, look. We do have some milling, looks like on each side. So it's a little bit skeletonized right there to try to reduce some of the weight on it. So that is, and then so other than the back spacer, the rest of it is pretty much essentially open. You do have a lanyard hole here if you want to put a lanyard through here. It's nicely done. It's just part of the handle extended, so it's not going to be too much. Plus, when you hold it in your hand, this pretty much, in my hand, being a large glove, almost disappears right at the end of it. But if we look at it and I grab this and lock in, I have a good purchase, and my thumb up here feels very comfortable. What a bully. Look at that. Woolly bully. Woolly bully. Woolly bully. I don't even know why that song would make sense right there, but it did. Reverse grip it, very comfortable. Put your thumb back here, right on this smooth edge. Keep your pinky here, and you've got a really comfortable. Now, I don't know how much you would do in a reverse grip, but it is very comfortable to hold it that way, even if you needed to push or pistol grip. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous knife. Now, is this something that you think is worth basically a couple $100? I don't know. To me, obviously I spent the money and I put it in my pocket, and yes, it feels like a good quality between $150 and $200 knife to me, with the premium products that we have, the options that are available, the full stainless steel inserts that run the length of the knife all the way through the handle, which this could even be, I guess, used if you needed an emergency to try to break glass or something. I'm sure you could probably do that. But other than that, I think it's a wonderful knife. Feels good in the hand. Like I said, this thing is just a little like chunk of a knife. The Linen micarta feels beautiful, a nice, sure, secure grip. Yeah, this just blends a lot of form and function together into this blade. It's quick opening, closing, super sharp. Love the flipper and the XR and all the different options on that you have. Again, I'm looking forward to more of this steel now and finding out more about it. Guys, do you know much about this steel? Have you used it, seen it? What about this particular knife? What about SOG in general? You guys usually hit me up pretty good on these type of videos. Let me know what you think about the blade design. Is this something that would be good in everyday use for you and your purposes? Just go ahead and let me know. Let's get that taken care of. Let's see what the size is here, the blade length. We've got, looks like right at 3 inches. So from tip to the bottom base of the blade, that's almost a full, right about a full 3 inches of a cutting area. The handle itself looks like it's going to be 4 and about 1/8. That's what I think we're looking at. 4 1/4 actually. Yeah, whichever. So those are the sizes on it. So you got it just, I think it's just right at a 3-inch blade is what they claim to fame. And then a little bit over 4 inches, which 4 inches plus is just about the smallest handle that I can get my full hand around and grip comfortably. Now, the weight. Let's check out what the weight is on this. Okay. 5.8. So, see, I wasn't lying when I said that this thing's a little chunk. 5.8 ounces. So, it could, for some people, if you're used to carrying a 3 or a 4 ounce knife, this could be a little bit heavy on the pocket, or you know, whenever you're carrying it, just depending on what you're used to. Again, this is, I think, a wonderful knife. Guys, leave comments. If you're new to the channel, please make sure if you like it, and even if you don't, I'm not telling anybody, but you can still subscribe. I'm going to try. We got to get those numbers up because I'm excited to get to 500. I've got a really nice knife I want to give away to one of you guys. Remember our pets, remember our vets, those men and women that have fought to give everything for us to have our freedoms, and then the little furry guys, the unfurry guys, the pets that greet us, that love us unconditionally. And appreciate you taking the time to watch, guys. I'll be coming at you soon with more content. Punch your ticket, get on board. Love you guys. Until we meet again, I'll talk to you then. Bye.